We left Yashoda and Krishna the last time, with Yashoda having caught Krishna by Krishna's kindness upon her, and she's still angry and knows she has to punish him, or she thinks she has to punish him, and Krishna is trying to weasel his way out of it by denying all the charges and blaming it on his mother that you broke the pot. Mother Yashoda is very angry. Atypically, Krishna thought that, well, she's very lenient. He can get away with anything. So many times the local neighborhood ladies came and complained, and they were expecting that Yashoda would punish Krishna. But Krishna, by his charm and his denial and his crying, and he would always persuade Yashoda, no. We don't want to punish him. We don't want to hurt him. We don't want to make him unhappy. But this time she's angry in a way which Krishna never expected. And maybe she herself never expected that she could become so angry. On this day, especially inspired by Krishna's own Yogamaya potency, she wanted to do more for Krishna. She wanted that all the servants in the house would go away so she could do everything for Krishna. She wanted to do everything for Krishna, and then he reciprocates by breaking the pot of yogurt and then making a havoc in the storehouse where all the butter and ghee is stored. Yashoda is in a kind of anger that she herself couldn't imagine. No one could imagine. And with Krishna's clever words, pretending to, actually, I'm a very good boy, she knows that this is all bogus cheating on Krishna's part, but she's feeling her heart becoming melted, but she's restraining herself. No, I'm not going to allow him to get off this time. I must be angry. I'm going to be angry. I'm not going to let my anger up. I'm going to punish him. He needs to be punished. Probably all those neighborhood ladies were correct. They weren't exaggerating at all the bad things he'd done in their houses. He'd steal things and break things and pinch their babies so that they would cry and urinate in their houses and so many things. He really is a bad boy. I really have to punish him. He's the son of my noble husband, and he's supposed to be the next in line. He's supposed to be the heir to all this opulence of cows, and he's supposed to be the next king of Vrindavan. He has to be trained. He can't get away with it. So she grabs him by the hand and walks striding across the courtyard, and then she sees the heavy mortar lying on the ground. It's thin in the middle and wide at the end, the two ends. And she thinks, that's what I'll do. I'll tie him up. That's the best thing I can do. But not with any harsh ropes, but she takes out the ribbon from her hair with the idea that she'll tie him up. It's soft, but it's strong, the ribbon in her hair. And she thinks then that won't hurt him, but he won't be able to run away. So she tells him, now you listen, you little rascal, little thief. You're rolling your eyes as if you're completely innocent. Typical thief! It must be from a previous life. Actually, this is Krishna's eternal pastimes. We can't say that in his previous avatars as Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, Narasingha, Vamana, Parashuram, Sri Ramchandra Bhagavan, we can't say in any of these previous avatars that he acted as a thief, except he was a thief of the heart. But these pranks and tricks, well, yeah, as Vamana he was doing that. But this stealing as a young boy and pretending, yeah, something may be carrying on from the Vamana avatar. But Yashoda is thinking, you have to get this out of your system. Tears, crying, trying to pretend you're innocent. I know you now. I'm your mother. You can get away with it with others, but not with your mother. You have to learn to be a good boy. You have to do what I say. So I have so much work to do in the house, and I need to punish you, so I'll just tie you up, that's all. It's not a big punishment. It's not a big thing. There's enough room for you to move around, but at the same time, you can't get into any trouble. You'll be tied up. So I'm going to tie you up and then see what you can do. You think you can do whatever you like? Go wherever you like? And see what you can do when you're tied up. She's going to tie me up? Ah! Krishna can't believe it. She's going to tie me up and then go in the house and leave me alone here? Ah! He calls out, Ma, Rohini, Balaram, come, come. But Rohini and Balaram are not there. He's calling again and again. Certainly Rohini would have protested, maybe taken Krishna to her house. If Balaram had been there, Yashoda would have told Balaram, hey, you look after him. As she usually does when Balaram and Krishna go off daily to take out the calves. Well, that'll come a little later. But generally, Yashoda, when she can't personally oversee Krishna, then she tells Balaram, you look after Krishna. You're older. It's your duty as the older brother to look after Krishna. But Rohini and Balaram are away. But the other women in the neighboring houses hear Krishna. And though they're busy in their houses, it's Deepavali day, and the Indra Yagya is coming up. So they're busy with their household duties. But even though Krishna is not calling them, and it's another house, child is screaming, yelling in the house. In the next house, they don't bother. They know children, they're naughty, they scream, they yell, they may be crying, they may be protesting about their mother when the mother gives them a slap or something, or ties them up, or remonstrates. against the child. So it's a common thing that children cry in their house, and no one thinks that the child is being mistreated, at least not in traditional cultures. They just think that, the child has been naughty and they're being punished and the child's crying, and it's nothing for us even to think about or bother about, let alone go and see what's going on, as if to remonstrate with the mother who's chastising the child. But this is Krishna, and they all love Krishna. So on some excuse or other, they leave their own household work and come to see what's going on. Krishna's calling out. The little thief. They know him, he's very well. He's the son of the queen of Vrindavan, the king and queen of Vrindavan. They know him very well. He's playmate with their own children. And he's been to their home uninvited as a little thief. He'll come and run in their house. It's a common thing in the village. Children run from they go in one house or another, and no one puts any check on them. Every house is a home for the children. Every mother is a mother to all the children. Every father is a father to all the children. Of course, everyone has their own particular sons and daughters, but everyone is a father and mother. It's like that in the village. That culture was there until recently. It may still be there, it must be still there in some places. So they knew Krishna. He'd come in their houses, stealing things. They actually liked it. If they heard that Krishna was stealing in another house, they would think, oh, why is he not stealing in our house? And sometimes they would observe him stealing, and they wouldn't immediately protest. They would watch. They would take pleasure in seeing Krishna stealing. And then they would come as if very angry. Oh! Then they would catch him and bring him to Mother Yashoda. One time, it happened in one house, Krishna saw his reflection in a shiny pillar, and he said to the reflection, "Shh, be quiet. Don't say anything. Don't betray me." They would call him, you thief, you rascal. But he is everything to everyone in Vrindavan. This is their spontaneous love for him. Not that they read Bhagavad Gita and think, oh yeah, I should serve Krishna, but their natural heart's propensity to love Krishna. So when they hear Krishna calling in distress again and again and again, it's really none of their business in one sense, but in another sense, they run to see what's going on. What is going on? Curiosity. Krishna is calling out, what's going on? Let's go and find out. We can make some excuse to go and see what's going on with Krishna. And when they see from their own house, one goes and then, okay, one is gone, so that's a good excuse for me to go. And one by one, the neighboring women, we're talking about the heads of the households. In every household, they'll have so many maidservants, but we're talking about the heads of the household. They went out to see, and there they see Mother Yashoda tightly holding him. He's trying to get away, struggling. But she's standing next to the mortar. He's crying, full of anxiety, fear. He's going to get tied up. He doesn't want to be tied up. he's afraid and angry, feeling helpless at the same time, pleading with her, sometimes threatening her, begging her, don't tie me up, don't tie me up. But the mother, very determined, and the women feel, oh, why are you being so harsh with him? But at the same time, they're laughing in their hearts because they're thinking they smile at each other. Oh. So she never wanted to punish for stealing from our houses. Now he's been caught in his own house. They can't say it openly to Yashoda because she's most respectable to all of them. But they think, you didn't want to believe us. Now you see, he can do even in your own house. He can act so perversely. And they know that Yashoda, her love for Krishna is even more than theirs. And that even if she's being so harsh with Krishna, it must be motivated by love. So her hair is already loose, and Yashoda may be feeling a little embarrassed in front of all these neighboring women at how she's so angry with her son. But it's not such a big thing. Just to tie him up, it doesn't hurt. Only his ego it hurts. But she takes a very fine, soft silk ribbon from her hair, because she knows his body, and any child at that age, what to speak of Krishna, their body is going to be very tender and soft. So she wants to tie him up, but it's just a little bit too short. The measurement of tooth, just a little bit too short. So she takes another piece of ribbon in her hair, ties it to the first one. When she wraps it around, it just comes a little bit too short, 2 fingers too short. Oh, okay. What to do? Okay, well, have to bring some more. Maybe the women here, you can bring, she asked them, you bring them. Bring very soft strings, not these hard ones, but some very soft strings. Find and bring to bring here. Another woman, she brings a string, too short. Another one, too short. However much they tie, it always comes out too short. How can they all be just like that? How can they all be just too short? Yashoda again, and she's personally tying Krishna. She's already tired. So much work she was doing. She's not used to doing all this churning, heavy, hard work. And then she had to lift up the big, heavy pot of milk. And then she's chasing after Krishna. She's actually very tired. And now, again and again, putting the strings on Krishna, getting more and more tired. She knows how to tie knots. She's a village woman. She knows how to do all these practical things. So she can tie knots very well, but still, it's making her more and more tired. And as the women go off to bring more ropes, then other women see them, and they come with their own children. And they're all, oh, Yashoda needs some strings. Okay, they all bring new strings, and they're all happy to get the opportunity to come to Yashoda's house and see Krishna again and be close to him. So they're with their children. Oh, what's going on? Our Krishna, our hero, our friend. Krishna is the leader of them all. But what's going on? They feel for him, but they're little children. What can they say? What can they do? He's being tied up by his mother. And they understand it's not a heavy or harsh punishment, but it's a serious punishment. And when he's going to get tied up, that means you just can't be trusted even for a second. You have to be tied up. So they're tying up one string to another, to another, to another, wrapping it around, but every time he wraps around, it comes just a little bit too short. Who can tie Krishna? As long as he doesn't want to be tied, he can't be tied. And the women say to Yashoda, come on, it's just not happening. Something strange is going on. There's always something strange going on with Krishna. Always something amazing with Krishna. We saw with the beginning with Putana and then the cart that smashed. There's always something going on. Must be some mystic power. First of all, he has this mystic power to enchant us all. Now you have the power to make this king of the thieves afraid of you, but you're becoming a victim of his magic power. And the mother thinks, oh, what are you talking about? You're just on Krishna's side, that's all. You're taking his side. You're scolding him as a thief, but you yourself, you must be having some secret magic power which you're using to prevent me from binding him up. In villages, maybe not so much nowadays, in villages, in towns everywhere, maybe not so much nowadays with the advent of scientific knowledge, and people were very much aware of supernatural forces which are there, and that there are spirits who influence things, and there are mystical powers. So it's not surprising that among village people, when something unexpected, unusual happens, that they attribute it to some mystic potency. And actually it is, because everything unusual and everything usual also goes on under the supervision of Krishna's mystic power. Pashyame yogam aishvaram, Krishna tells Arjuna, just see my mystic power. But the women say, no, we don't know it. We're not tantrics or yoginis, or we don't know any such secret powers. Then Mother Yashoda thinks she'd heard from her husband repeatedly. He'd repeated that what Garga had said. Garga Rishi had taken the little boy in his arms and given the name to him and spoken of the great transcendental power that would always be with him, just like Narayana. So it must be this, Yashoda thinks. It must be this transcendental power that stops me tying him up. It's not him per se. She still sees him crying as if he's completely broken-hearted. But the more Krishna tries to weasel his way out of the situation, the more determined she becomes. If I don't punish him today, he'll never learn to behave properly. He'll do harm to himself and to others. Bring more string, bring more string, bring more string. And she keeps on going, keeps on putting more and more strings again and again. Doesn't work. It comes 2 fingers too short. He is the one who binds the whole universe together. He binds us in the bonds of Maya. He binds people together and then sets them apart by being himself, by being Krishna in this childhood age. The charm, the beauty, the innocence, the naughtiness, he's bound the hearts of everyone in Vrindavan to himself. But he will not allow, if he doesn't want, his mother to tie him up. He is tied, that is stated in Bhagavatam, Pranaya Rasanaya. He is tied by the ropes of love, and eventually he will allow her to tie him up, not with ordinary strings per se, but with her love. She's already tying him up with her love. He's eternally tied to her. She's his eternal mother. He is her eternal child. But as far as being physically bound, as long as he doesn't want himself to be bound, he who is boundless, who is infinite, he cannot be bound. And so this very simple task, it's a very simple thing to tie up your child. You don't have to try and do it if you have a child. But it should be a very simple thing to do. But she couldn't do it at all. The women watching, they gave up. And they thought, she's not going to do it. But Yashoda wouldn't give up. She kept on going. And on her order, they had to bring more and more and more ropes. And the local boys are watching. Oh, Krishna, phew. Oh, he can even defy his own mother. We can't do that with our mothers. They know Krishna is something very special among them all. So, Mother Yashoda's friends, they were smiling, enjoying the fun. And Mother Yashoda, although working hard, although angry, she also, they were smiling and struck with wonder. The women is smiling a little. They can't laugh at Yashoda, but they're smiling to see all the fun. They can't laugh at Yashoda. She's always respectable to them. Yashoda completely fatigued now, but her eagerness to bind Krishna doesn't decrease, nor does Krishna's protesting decrease. His playmates, also some of them, they're also crying. Oh, our friend is being tied up. What's going to happen? What's going to be the end of this? She's tying and tying and tying and not tying, and it's not happening. But eventually Krishna, seeing her so tired, allowed himself to be bound. As stated in Bhagavatam, Shukadev wonders with great amazement. He tells Parikshit, Na chantar na bahir yasya, na purvang na picha param, purva parang bahischantar, jagato yog jagatchayaha, tang matvatmajam avyaktang martya lingam adhokshajam gopiko lukale damna babandha prakritang yatha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has no beginning and no end. So how can you tie him up? No beginning and no end, no exterior and no interior, no front and no rear. In other words, he is all-pervading, because he is not under the influence of the element of time. For him there is no difference between past, present, and future. He exists in his own transcendental form at all times. Being absolute, beyond relativity, he is free from distinctions between cause and effect, although he is the cause and effect of everything. That unmanifested person who is beyond the perception of the senses had now appeared as a human child, and Mother Yashoda, considering him her own ordinary child, bound him to the wooden mortar with a rope. She did it. That's not the end of the story. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha